Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Day 1 presentation of TradAfrica, Part 1. My name is Samuel Ngan. I am one of the instructors at TradAfrica community. During this first presentation, you will be able to know more about me and our real motivation to launch TradAfrica. At the end of this section, we will talk about our courses and our mentorship program. Let me start by talking a little bit about myself. As you already know, I am Samuel Ngan. I am married and have several children. I was born in a small village in the heart of Africa, particularly in Cameroon, and immigrated to the United States with my family. Here in US, apart from my heavy responsibility as a husband and father, I'm also the president director of Samuel Construction Group, a construction company. So I'm a businessman. Some will ask themselves, what is the link between construction and finance or the stock market? How does the two distinct industries come across? Well, but how being a businessman led me to trading and teaching the stock market today. One of the truths we are going to learn during our courses is that you do not need to have a background in finance or in computer science to be successful in the stock market. Not to be confused with practicing the stock market, because practicing and succeeding in the stock market are two distinct things. At TradAfrica, we are also not financial advisors. But however, where does the connection come from? In other words, how did I come across the stock market? Well, I will say this in my own case. Maybe if I wasn't in business, I wouldn't be a trader today. Because what I experienced will confirm the fact that in our life, things sometimes happen for a purpose. You can use any crisis or the down moment in your life, the moment when nothing seems to work, as an opportunity to think outside the box. That is to consider things you couldn't consider before. That is true because it was during a crisis or a very difficult period of humanity, such as war, that many things was invented. For example, it was during the First and Second World War that things like computers, microwaves, penicillin, radar, plastic surgery, and many other good things were invented. I'm not trying to say that war is a good thing, but what I mean here is that difficult time sometimes force people to create what didn't exist. So, when we face the dark moment of our life, it shouldn't be the time to lay down our arms and discourage ourselves or sink into depression. This can be a good opportunity to think differently. That was exactly my case. I ran my business successfully until that day came, one of the darkest days of my career. I think some of you may have similar experience, especially when you're a business owner. It's very challenging. I was about to get out of business, not because of an internal problem of my company, but because of an external one related to the particular individual. That person was sitting on my way, and I have to please him if I wanted to remain in business. But since I didn't want to comply, things got so difficult to the point that I almost had to close the door of my business. It's in that difficult time that I see the opportunity to think otherwise. Since I came to understand that the reason why I was suffering was because I was depending on people's feelings to run my business successfully. I'm not saying it's impossible to depend on people and succeed, but in my case, at that time, for the well-being of my business, it was impossible. things got so difficult to the point that I couldn't even provide for my family anymore. That is why I took the decision that I will never put my eggs in the same basket again. I have to find an alternative business that didn't need anyone's interference. At that time, I didn't know the stock market at all. But up to now, the question is, how do I get in contact with the stock market? That is what we're going to see in our part 2 of our presentation. I invite you to be here next week for the second part of our presentation. Thank you.